Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. I hope you enjoy this kind of bags because today I will show you how to crochet this shell stitch raffia bag. My last raffia bag pattern was so popular in my channel, so I thought I will make another one so you can carry around in your next holiday. I use the same oval base that I used for my previous bag, and for the full written pattern, please check my website, link in the description box below. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. To make this handbag, you will need some raffia or paper yarn, or maybe it has some other name in another country, but is sold on Amazon by 500 grams per skein or unit. I will leave for you the link to the one I bought and also a 2.5 mm hook. You will find the links to all the materials needed in the description box below. We will start to crochet the oval base. For that, I crocheted 35 chain stitches. Then I skipped the first chain and crocheted on the second chain from the hook a single crochet. A marker at the first single crochet will help a lot. Then I continued crocheting one single crochet stitch on each chain until I had in total 33 single crochet stitches. At the last chain stitch, I increased with 3 single crochet stitches. So, at the last stitch, I crocheted 3 single crochet stitches in one stitch. I have put a marker at the first single crochet stitch, which will help to remind me where the 3 increases at the side of the oval base are. Then we crochet on the other side of the chain base. The next stitch will be on top of the 33rd single crochet stitch I did on the other side. As you can see, the first single crochet on the other side corresponds to the 33rd single crochet stitch on the top side as shown. I continued crocheting single crochet stitches until I had 32 single crochet stitches at the end of the row, not counting here the 3 single crochet stitches that we increased. At the last stitch of the row, where we have the marker, I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches in one stitch, as shown. These are 2 increases for the other side of the oval base. The third increase is at the marker, which we crocheted as first stitch of the first round. Then one chain, which will raise the round, and we can start crocheting the second round. For the second round, I followed the pattern: 2 single crochet stitches at the first stitch, right there where I have the marker, as that is my third increase of the side. I kept the marker throughout the whole crochet of the base as it helps a lot on knowing where your increases are. Then I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches until I arrived at the other side of the round where I have 3 increases. For the side of the oval base, I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches on each stitch 3 times. Now I worked on the other side of the round and I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches. I placed a marker where the second section with 32 single crochet stitches is to help me out with the counting for the other rounds. Once 32 single crochet stitches were finished, I had to crochet the pattern for 1 increase 2 times, because at the end of each round I have 2 increases, since 1 increase is at the beginning of each round. So I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches on each stitch, in total 4 single crochet stitches for the second half circle side of the oval base. And this is how my work looks like. Then one more chain and I started the pattern for the third round. One single crochet at the first stitch and 2 single crochet at the second stitch. This is the pattern of 1 increase at the third round. Then I kept crocheting 1 single crochet on each stitch until I had in total 32 single crochet stitches. Once I arrived at the first half circle side of the base, I crocheted the pattern of 1 increase 3 times. So, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, then 2 single crochet on the second stitch. And I repeated this pattern 3 times until I arrived at the second horizontal pattern where the number of the stitches is always the same. So I crocheted next 32 single crochet stitches. Once I finished 32 single crochet stitches, I arrived at the second half circle of the base, where I have only 2 increases left, since the third one is always at the beginning of the round. So I repeated the pattern, 1 single crochet on the first stitch and 2 single crochet on the second stitch. I crocheted this pattern 2 times. Then I crocheted 1 chain and started the 4th round. So I start always with 1 increase, which has the pattern 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch and 1 single crochet on the third stitch. Next I crocheted on the first horizontal side 32 single crochet stitches. Once arrived on the first half circle of the base, I crocheted the pattern for 1 increase. 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch. I repeated this pattern 2 more times. After I finished crocheting the first half circle, I continued crocheting 32 single crochet stitches on the second horizontal side of the base. At the end of the 32 single crochet stitches, I crocheted the pattern of 1 increase 2 times, since there are 2 increases at the second half circle of the base, which is 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch. At the end of the 2 increases, I always crochet 1 chain and I started the pattern for the 5th round. Since the rounds start with an increase, I crocheted the pattern 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch and 1 single crochet on the fourth stitch. Then I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches on the first horizontal side of the base. At the first half circle of the base, I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 3 times, which is 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch, 1 single crochet on the fourth stitch. Then, for the second horizontal side, I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches, and at the end I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 2 times at the second half circle of the base and 1 chain at the end. Then I started the 6th round with a pattern of 1 increase, 1 single crochet on first stitch, 2 single crochet on second stitch, 1 single crochet on the next 3 stitches. Then, on the first horizontal side of the base, I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches. Once I finished the 32 stitches, I crocheted the first half circle of the base, repeating the pattern for 1 increase 3 times. Then, 32 single crochet stitches on the second horizontal side of the base, and in end, I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 2 times at the second half circle of the base, closing the pattern of the 6th round with 1 chain. For the 7th round, I crocheted the pattern of 1 increase, 1 single crochet on first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the next 4 stitches. Then I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches and I arrived at the first half circle of the base, where I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 3 times. After that, I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches at the second horizontal side of the base, and I repeated the pattern of one increase 2 times for the second half circle of the base and one chain at the end. For the 8th round, 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, and 1 single crochet on the next 5 stitches. This is the pattern for one increase at this round. Then 32 single crochet stitches on the first horizontal side, and I crocheted the pattern of one increase 3 times for the first half circle of the base. 32 single crochet stitches on the second horizontal side, and I repeated 2 times the pattern of one increase at the second half circle of the base, and one chain at the end of all. The 8th round was the last round for the base. Now we work upwards to crochet the side of the bag. I changed to half double crochet since it's a higher stitch and I could crochet the side easier, but feel free to use double crochet for a more higher stitch in case you want to. So now at the 9th row I work with half double crochet, so yarn over, insert the hook at the first stitch of the round, pull a loop, yarn over again, and pull a loop through all the 3 loops on the hook. Continue crocheting one half double crochet on each stitch all around the base. In this round we do no increases, and feel free to take out all the markers. And this is how the first round of the side will look like once you did all the stitches. But for this round I will need to level up the beginning with the end of the round, so I went back a few stitches, about 4 stitches, and I crocheted the first one with a very low half double crochet. Then I went on and crocheted the rest of the stitches to the end with single crochet. As you can see, now the first round is kind of in the same level. From the second round and on, I will work with a shell pattern, so for that I crocheted 3 chains, which count as a double crochet. Then 2 more double crochet in the same stitch. Then 2 chains and 3 more double crochet in the same stitch. So this is the first shell. I will leave for you the whole counting on my website, link in the description box below, on how many shells I have in total and the stitches between them. Then I skipped 6 stitches and crocheted again 3 double crochet, 2 chains, 3 double crochet on the 7th stitch. This is my second shell. I continued repeating this pattern on the 7th stitch for 14 shells, then on the 8th stitch for the last 4 shell patterns. So in total you will have 18 shell patterns, but 14 of them will be 6 stitches apart from one another, and the last 4 shells 7 stitches apart from one another. This is how your work will look like once I finished all the 18 shells. I had 6 stitches left in front of my last shell pattern. Then I inserted the hook at the top third chain of the first shell pattern, and I connected the 2 shell patterns with a slip stitch. And this is the end of the first row with a shell pattern. Then to start the second row with a pattern, I slip stitched in the next 2 double crochet stitches, and 1 slip stitch at the 2 chain space. Then I crocheted 3 chains, which count as a double crochet. Then 2 double crochet, 2 chains, 3 double crochet in the same space. And this is how the shell pattern looks. Then I crocheted the pattern 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet in the next shell space. I continued repeating this pattern to the end of the round and connected the first shell with the last with a slip stitch. I went on and repeated the pattern of the first shell round 14 times. And this is how my work looked like at the end of the 14th round. At the last stitch, I crocheted 1 more chain, cut the yarn and hidden the end. Then I sewed 2 wooden handles. First I fixed them with some whatever yarn I had at hand. This way they will not move around when I sew them properly. Then, with a tapestry needle and some raffia, I inserted the needle from the back to the front and left the end loose, but making sure that it will not move around. Then, with the needle, I sewed the handle going over the wooden handle a few times as shown. Then, after going in rounds 4 to 5 times, I went at the back and tied the 2 ends. I sewed the handle on 2 other sections as well, and also the other handle on the other side. And here is the result. So, how does it look?